Area Council Staff Pension Board to scale up its activities in ensuring regular payments to pensioners. In Abuja, Ifeanyi Ezumba, NT News.
Meanwhile, for contravening the laydown procedure of connecting to the city sewer lines, in line with the master plan, the Abuja Environmental Protection Board has sealed up sewer lines of some housing estates in Abuja. Shuaibu Onoze Yakub reports that the exercise followed a court injunction to that effect.
You understand? Yes. We have also been in the government before.
The Act of the Abuja Environmental Protection Board provides that before any connection to the city sewer lines, a permission must be granted by the board. This provision has been violated by some estate developers, hence the sealing up of the sewer lines of the affected estates.
Every owner of building within Abuja FCT that seeks to connect to Central Sewer should follow the right procedure by applying to the Abuja Environmental Protection Board. Therein, the minister will give approval to connect, and when you pay the requisite fees, you will be connected.
Chief State Counsel of AEPB, Charity Okaro, says the action followed court injunction.
People are following the process, but you see some stubborn developers who will not want to follow those right procedures, and they feel they can continue to enjoy our services without our knowledge. So we've discovered and we've decided to descend on them.
The owners of the affected estate are, however, advised to fulfill all requirements before the sewer lines can be restored. Shuaibu Onoze Yakub, NT News.
And concerned by the illegal occupation of road corridors in Gwarimpa and the expressway, the Federal Capital Territory Administration says it will soon restore such areas to their original place on the master plan. Executive Secretary, Federal Capital Development Authority, Umar Gambo Jibrin, stated these when he led directors on field assessment to confirm some of the infractions. Abdullahi Ajia has more.
The Federal Capital City's development has remained in line with the master plan documents, but there exist some infractions, just like the ones on road corridors in Gwarimpa and the Kubwa Expressway, in which the FCT administration is working to address. This particular outing to Gwarimpa district by the Executive Secretary, FCDA, and a team of directors exposed for the second time some of the anomalies on the road corridors.
Like you see, this one particularly is on the corridor of one of the very critical roads that would have helped in moving into and out of the Gwarimpa or the FHA housing estates that are resident here. And that's our N16. And the other one, like we stopped on the other side, is the one that is called N11, which is the extension of the Ahmadu Bello Way into Gwarimpa. You can see that once we are able to remove this, the market permanently out of this corridor, the intention is that we're going to have part of it in the this year's budget, so that we'll be able to at least give these arteries to the residents of Gwarimpa, and then in that way we're relieving the people of these challenges of gridlock into and out of Gwarimpa.
The FCDA boss said restoring the corridors will be done with human face, especially for those marketers and businesses that would be affected.
That's why we're saying we're making sure that we quickly identify where we can locate them to do their activities. We don't have any obligation to that effect because this is not normally where they reside, but as a responsible government, the administration is looking at where to put them on a temporary basis, that they will remain there for as long as they can within the areas designated for markets and the rest of it within these districts.
Another area to be affected by this development is the road corridor on the Kubwa Expressway by Gwarimpa, taken over by car dealers whom have been communicated to vacate. Abdullahi Ajia, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Federal Capital Territory Administration has reiterated its commitment towards improving the education sector in the territory. FCT Minister Mohammed Musa Bello, represented by the Permanent Secretary, reiterates these at the presentation of education publications highlighting the 2018 Community Scorecard, 2019 Learning Achievements, and the 2017-2018 and 2018-2019 Annual School Census Reports. Shuaibu Onoze Yakubu tells us more.
The education publications put together by the Department of Policy, Planning, Research and Statistics is a working document that will guide policymakers on how to improve the standard of education in the FCT. FCTA Permanent Secretary Olushade Adeshola commended the department for putting the FCT education sector in perspective, promising that the administration will work with the recommendations provided, especially in the areas of infrastructure and training of teachers, to enhance effective service delivery.
We want to call on the corporate citizens, philanthropists. Let them come and donate blocks of classrooms to us. Let them go to our hinterland, build schools to immortalize their names. Let them come out to support the development efforts of government in various many ways. When we do this, we'll be able to address it.
We want to find out the curriculum. Is it working? Is it in line with the students' age and capabilities? And then we want to equally find out the strength of facilities we have. Is it okay for the children? These are all the things we went out to find out.
Findings on community scorecard and learning achievements indicates that teachers in FCT public schools are qualified and effective, while learners in private schools show better performance than their counterparts in public schools in FCT. The document also reveals that there is an increase in number of public primary schools and also increase in number of public schools enrollment in FCT. Shuaibu Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, every child has the right to access basic and quality education irrespective of sex, age, religion, or ethnic affiliations. On this premise, a non-governmental organization, Grace Anthony Foundation, have decided to sponsor 50 students of Boma Duse LEA Primary School, a suburb under the Buari Area Council. Rosemary Motelembila reports that the students will be sponsored from primary to tertiary level.
That was the atmosphere of students of Bokoma Duse LEA Primary School upon receiving the scholarship form up to university level and other school materials from the organization.
I'm so happy for them so that my auntie self should be happy too.
I'm very happy. Thank you. God will bless them. God will help them.
Donating the items to over 50 selected students, President of the NGO, Sylvester Ekenwoye, said the gesture is to break the barrier that creates a class structure between the rich and the poor, privileged and underprivileged.
It was a privilege that we are here today to also do the one of the schools. When we came here to meet with them, to interact with the school, we discovered that most of the students here, they are orphaned. Some of them are cannot even pay the little buying of books and other PTA they ought to have paid. So we now took the responsibility as part of our mandate to train the 50 of them to the level of university.
Other speakers say the program is aimed at providing broad humanitarian services to every class of people in need.
I don't even know the adjective to use to quantify what they have done to us in this school. Many of our parents, they are very poor. Even some of them, hand sanitizers and other things.
We cater for the less privileged, the orphans, those that don't have the right to quality education. So that's what we are into. We go out there to look for those that don't have the right to quality education. We give them training, we train them.
Grace Anthony Foundation is saddled with responsibility of empowering youth, women, men, the disabled and other class of people in the society by imparting them with life-changing skills that will help them become useful to themselves, their families and the society at large. Rosemary Moltelen Bilal, NTA News.
Following the official opening of transfer window by the National Pension Commission that enables one to move from one retirement savings account to another, the FCT Area Council Staff Pension Board organized a two-day event to sensitize and train workers on effective ways of executing this initiative. The reports.
We have agreed with the heads that by next week Friday, all the area council will submit
The session is also a fallout of approval by the FCT Minister of State, Ramatu Tijani Aliyu, for the FCT Area Council Staff Pension Board to equip staff of the area councils with necessary skills in respect of the central transfer system, which commences in March this year. Director of the board, Nanzing Inden, says the event is to further address loopholes and promote effective service delivery.
PENCOM requires us to train officers on how they can move from one pension fund administration to another if they so wish. And they can do that at least once in a year. We have the pension desk officers and salary officers who are responsible for management of pension matters of the area councils and the local education authorities. So it's imperative to start with them so that they understand their roles, and as we move around the area councils to do the work, they will be of immense assistance to us.
Keynote speakers took out time to educate the staff on pension matters, after which questions and suggestions were made. There was a general consensus that feedback will go a long way in helping the board solve problems. You're watching the news at 1 on NTA Channel 5. Abuja will be back after this message. Please don't go away.
Please cover your mouth with your bent elbow like this.
Auntie, cover my mouth for what? Corona don't go from Nigeria. I beg, Auntie, go disturb my life.
No. Coronavirus pandemic is not over. Don't relent in observing safety protocols and good hygiene. Frequent hand washing with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Practice good respiratory etiquette, including covering your coughs and sneezes. Avoid close contact with a sick person. Cover your mouth and nose with a mask when around others. Clean and disinfect frequently touched surfaces.
You're absolutely right. Coronavirus is still with us.
Please, and remember, coronavirus pandemic is not over. Protect yourself and others to stay safe.
This message is brought to you by NTA Channel 5, Abuja, the Unity Station.
Many thanks for being there. Figures from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NICDC, as at 25th February 2021, indicates 33 new cases of COVID-19 in the FCT, making the total number of confirmed cases to be 19,148, while active cases stand at 7,171, and the number of discharged cases in the territory now stands at 11,834, and sadly, 143 deaths have been recorded in the FCT. The Food Security Survey conducted in the 62 wards in the territory showed that about 15% of residents are facing food insecurity. Permanent Secretary, Federal Capital Territory Administration, Olushade Adeshola, made this disclosure at the 8th regular meeting of the FCT Council on Agriculture and Rural Development in Abuja. Ifeanyi Ezumba reports that the theme of the meeting is evolving, ensuring strategies towards commercializing of agriculture for economic empowerment to mitigate the effects of COVID-19 pandemic and promote sustainability, food security.
The Federal Capital Territory is endowed with rich and vast arable land and water resources that could be harnessed towards improving the livelihood of the citizenry. FCT Permanent Secretary, represented by the Director Office of the Permanent Secretary, Atang Samuel, said FCT administration, through its relevant agencies, had continued to improve innovative programs to address areas of critical needs of smallholders farmers.
In our efforts to address the pertinent issue of food security, the FCT administration, in conjunction with the World Food Programme, National Bureau of Statistics, the area councils, authorities, and other relevant stakeholders, recently carried out a food security assessment in all the 62 wards of the Federal Capital Territory.
Acting Secretary, FCT Agriculture and Rural Development Secretariat, Ibe Chukwuemeka Prosper, assured that the Secretariat would continue to work hard with relevant stakeholders towards repositioning the agricultural sector.
This Secretariat has the clear mandate of the FCT administration under the leadership of the Honorable Minister of FCT, Malam Mohammed Musa Bello, and the Honorable Minister of State, Dr. Ramatu Tijani Aliyu, to continue to work hard with relevant stakeholders towards the positioning the agricultural sector in the FCT.
Participants were drawn from the 6 area councils of the territory to interact and share ideas on how to move the agriculture sector forward. In Abuja, Ifeanyi Izumba, NT News.
And to promote good governance and peaceful coexistence in the country through interfaith platforms, the Al-Habibia Islamic Society has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with Mambaya House of Aminu Kano Center for Democratic Studies, Bayero University, Kano. Correspondent Rukaya Abbas Hassan was there and now reports.
Time now in the country. Despite several legislative and administrative efforts at combating this menace, the issue still persists till present. In a bid to undertake anti-corruption activities and enhance good governance in Nigeria, Mambaya House of the Aminu Kano Center for Democratic Studies, Bayero University, Kano, into a strong partnership between
Nigeria, particularly at the grassroots level, trying to entrench and ensure transparency, accountability, good governance, so that we can have a better Nigeria. The main thing is that for us to collaborate, to do a number of activities that will further re-echo or re-emphasize the anti-corruption messaging.
The alliance also intends to collaborate with religious leaders, faith-based organizations.
The Mambaya House, they are researchers, they are professionals, but we will get there. Now with this collaboration, we'll have enough things to send and there'll be enough places to go. What an average leader should know that you are actually representing God. You should do it the way God should have done it. And when you do that, I can tell you authoritatively, God will lift you up.
This partnership is to carry out functions under any agreed anti-corruption projects and undertake activities on good governance in Nigeria, especially at the grassroots level.
On a check of roadworthiness of rickety vehicles in Nigeria, how are motorists in the Federal Capital Territory complying with the directive? Wofaibo finds out.
The Federal Road Safety Corps' action is in consonance with one of its mandates of ensuring a safer motoring environment in the realization of its 2021 strategic goals of reducing road traffic crashes by 15% and fatalities by 20%. But this seems not to be going down well with motorists and commuters as much as they are not against the policy direction.
What the road safety is saying is not the right time to remove all those motors on the road.
This is not the right time for them to do it. This is not the right time. You know, we are in hardship.
A lot of people right now are out of job. So a lot of these people who are managing with this car that you are calling wrecking or something, I don't know, that is what they are managing at the moment to feed their families and all of that. So if you ask them to take this car off the street, what are you going to do?
However, Mr. Patrick Ubaka thinks differently.
Take it away from the road. It's good. Okay. It's very, very good. To stop all these accidents.
For the sector commander, FCT Federal Road Safety Corps, Ayuba Wubingora, there is no better time than now, as it's a move by the Corps to entrench and sustain the culture of regular maintenance of vehicles to avoid traffic hazards.
Rickety vehicles are not supposed to be seen on the road. And when you start seeing them in their number, it calls for concern. These are vehicles that are not roadworthy. And when the vehicle is not roadworthy, what it means is that it can be involved in a crash, lone crash, or it can also cause crashes on other vehicles.
The long-term objective of the Federal Road Safety Corps is ensuring safety of lives on Nigerian roads. TN News.
Meanwhile, a Kia Picanto car with registration number ABJ 579AP at the early hours of yesterday rammed into a stationary truck with registration number CT743. Bashir captured the incident.
The accident, which occurred near the Old Parade Ground, Area 10, involving a Picanto Kia and a truck of the FCT Park and Recreation, was as a result of the driver driving the Picanto Kia that ran into the truck that was parked by the side of the road.
This environmental vehicle was parked, so they are clearing the environment. So the other opened run into it. Maybe the guy was not looking or is on call, so he was not looking at all.
Because of the accident is negligence. They are walking without using the proper items, the proper signs. When you are walking on the road, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to use the proper signs. I must say this is an avoidable accident. It doesn't mean it's a highway. If you are parking on a highway, you're supposed to use your sign, but they didn't use that sign.
Though there was no death, the two victims were seen. There is the need for motorists to exercise caution while on the wheels and obey traffic regulations. The victims were thereafter evacuated to the hospital. Aisha Bashir, NTA News.
And talking sports, Nigeria has been handed an injury boost ahead of the upcoming 2021 AFCON qualifying matches as victorious Super Falcons return home from Turkey. The details are more with Rukaya Abbas Hassan on Sports Brief.
Nigeria have been handed an injury boost ahead of their upcoming 2021 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying matches against Benin and Lesotho, with first-choice right-back Kevin Apogumu set to resume training this week. The former Germany under-20 captain, who started the Super Eagles' last 3 matches at right-back, has not kicked a ball since suffering a hamstring-related injury in the first half of the 3-1 loss to Freiburg on January 2nd. And victorious Super Falcons of Nigeria are back in the country from Turkey, where they participated and won the 2021 Turkey Women's Invitational Tournament. The high-riding Super Falcons in the finals hammered Equatorial Guinea 9-0. The African Queens also defeated CSKA Moscow Ladies 1-0. The same scoreline was also recorded in their second match against Uzbekistan. Also, US-based Nigerian powerlifter Erepade Sunday, current president of World Powerlifting Federation of Nigeria, has expressed his aspiration to pull powerlifting out of the drop zone in the sports federation. He emphasized his plans to partner with relevant sports agencies and government bodies to foster the growth of the strength sports through the arrangement of regular inter-powerlifting competitions. Erepade finally stated that with his many achievements as World Powerlifting Champion and with his international and in the English Premier League Match Day 26, League toppers Manchester City will be facing West Ham. West Brom will welcome Brighton and Hove Albion. Leeds United will have it out